On today's episode. So here's a familiar story, a little 7-inch tablet with a smashed screen. And in this instance it's 3GO. This is a GeoTab GT7002EW. So as per usual, we'll just check there's no card in the side there. So just going to take the back off and see what lies within. Prying tool of choice. For me it's usually this blunt utility knife blade. Just taking care, sometimes on the back they stick the speakers or there may be little cables. Probably best to try and take the other end off first. Gently looking inside, see if I can see any cables or speakers. No, in this instance we're fairly clean, but as is common, we're unable to disconnect the battery because it's soldered, so we just have to take care of that. And here is the replacement screen. So can see here that lines up like that, and we're in luck. There are often various different versions. It did say this is in fact for the Voxter DX700, but it's equivalent to this little GeoTab as well. There's a little speaker there. So the next thing to do is, with the old heat gun, is to carefully go around the screen and heat it up and then remove it. Just before we heat up the screen, we need to remove the ribbon cable for the digitizer, which is simply done by raising this little clip at the back and then removing the connector, and now we can start the heating process. So having removed the digitizer screen, we've got a few bits of glass stuck to the LCDs which we need to get rid of. So just on a scrap piece of paper with a fine brush we can get rid of those. These fine bits of glass are, well, put it this way, you'll certainly know about it if you get one little shard stuck into your hand, or anywhere else for that matter. So there's a few pieces which are just adhering to the old adhesive on here, so okay, well, that can be carefully disposed of. Don't know if it's visible on the camera or not, but there are a few tiny shards that are stuck to my little silicone mat here, so I'm going to have to get those off. And a useful trick for doing that is just with some sellotape. Just carefully remove those. Little buggers. So just giving this a final clean before we put the new screen on top. And again, I'm not sure if you can see, but there's a couple of fingerprints inevitably on the screen there. Now, what I recommend for that job and many others are these little Zeiss cleaning tissues. I've originally got them to clean the lens on my DSLR, but they come in very useful for this type of work as well. And probably a bit of overkill, but there and there especially. And when that evaporates, you wouldn't even know. So now we're in position to put the replacement screen on. So we'll just offer it up at the moment. Always a good idea before you stick it down just to test that the actual replacement digitizer is working. Because obviously the warranty wouldn't be honoured once you've stuck it down and taken the protective film off. Just clip that down. Yes, we're in business. Okay, so that tests the screen is working. So having checked that out, we can now switch it off. So we'll just remove the digitizer once again. Flip up the little connector there. There we go. So now the trick is to remove this film. Taking care not to touch the actual inside of the digitizer. A bit fiddly getting things lined up before we finally stick it down. That seems to have got it now. Just making sure that's fully home before finally locking the tab down. So we put the back on now, so it's all ready for the client. So we just do a final power on check. They need to set the date and time, but other than that, it's all working. Excellent. Another good job.